Okay, so let's start this with an easy one, shall we? I was born and raised in the country of Venezuela. And even though I grew up in a warm peninsula, I actually spent my college years in a small cozy town in the northern region, surrounded by rivers, trees, and way too many mosquitoes. It was beautiful, although when it rained too much, it didn't take long for those rivers to turn against us. My grandparents lived in that little town, together with my uncle and their cute doggy. And honestly, their house felt like a second home to me. Whenever I wasn't staying in my college dorm, I would return there to spend time with my family, helping with the chores, enjoying the quiet, just in peace. The house itself was, well, unique. It had one of those South American layouts where you could tell somebody kept adding new rooms every decade but never really finished them. Yeah. It had so much character, and I still have many memories from my childhood there. Honestly, that house deserves its own video. There's just so much to explain. But for now, let's stick to the part where nature decided to redesign it for us. Going back to the story, fast forward to late 2016. I was spending some days with my family and it had been raining for weeks. Not the cute movie type rain where you look out of the window holding a coffee mug thinking about life. No. This was biblical. The type of rain that makes you question whether you should start building an ark. The power will go off and on constantly. Well, that one happens also when it's not raining, I guess. Anyway, we were tired and we were hoping the rain will stop soon. But honestly, something that time felt different. Then came the morning of the 1st of December. I could still hear the water tapping against the tin roof. And I remember thinking something like, maybe I can sleep a bit longer. Maybe by the time I wake up, it'll be gone. I wake up, the house flooding. I opened my eyes, still half asleep, and saw it. The water was everywhere. At least 15 centimeters covering the floor. At first, I didn't panic. We've had minor floods before, usually when it rained too much. But this time, the water kept rising fast, and faster, and faster, and it suddenly hit me. This wasn't one of those times. This time, it wasn't stopping. I looked around the living room, and everything looked like a strange aquarium of our lives. My grandma's plants and my guitar were floating, my PlayStation was already drowning somewhere, the dog barked nervously, water up to his belly, and that's where the fear really sank in. We have to leave, now. The water reached our waist very fast. It was cold, heavy, and full of debris. I grabbed my jacket and my favorite stuffed animal. I don't even know why. I just needed something familiar, and that was the closest to me. Everything was being swallowed by the water while the current grew stronger, and by the time we reached the front door, it was chest deep and pulling against us. We made it out to the front yard where a pile of construction blocks stood about 2 meters high. It wasn't much, but it was the only high ground we could find. We climbed the pile of blocks and stayed up there for what felt like hours, watching the brown water swallow the yard and just waiting for help. The rain kept falling, but it became less strong with the time, and slowly the water stopped rising. And for the first time in what felt like forever, a few sun rays broke through the clouds. It was finally over. Soon we saw volunteer rescuers coming down the flooded street, trying to help everyone they could. And when they finally reached us, they helped us crossing the flooded street safely to where 8 teams were already waiting for us to help us. We were finally out of the flooded street. I remember having to take a bunch of medical checks and vaccines, because the floodwater was full of shit. Well, things you don't want near your bloodstream, I guess. And I even got an extra shot for gangrene because I had some suspicious cuts on my legs, and I hate needles, so that was fun. But honestly, I didn't care anymore. My family was safe, and that was all that mattered. The next day, we were informed that the water level had dropped overnight, so we decided to go back to see the house. And it was worse than expected. The water was gone, yes, but in its place, 30 centimeters of thick, sticky mud were covering the floor, and everything we owned was buried in it. We dug and dug through what was left, slowly rescuing whatever we could. And although we managed to save a few things, most were gone. The days that followed were pretty much all the same, just dig mud and clean whatever we could. We did that non-stop for weeks. Also, the house walls were all soaked and mold was already starting to form, so we couldn't live anymore in that house afterwards. Honestly, everything that came after that event is kind of blurry, and looking back, it still feels kind of unreal, like something that happened to somebody else. And yes, we lost a lot that day, but we didn't lose each other, and I am very thankful for that. I know I cannot do anything to change what happened, but at least I can choose today to heal in the best way I can, writing and drawing. Thank you so much for watching this video and for being here with me. I hope that you enjoy it, and I look forward to see you in the next time. Bye! Hey, it's me again. I just wanted to drop a few notes about the video in general that I noticed while editing that might not be super clear. This story actually happened to us. However, I did change a few things in order to make it shorter for production. Like, so many more things happened, but it was impossible to put everything in a short video. By the way, I also didn't mention that the water that was flooding our house was actually coming from an overgrown river nearby after 32 days of continuous rain, plus all the holes on the roof, of course. Anyways, if you have any questions about the story, feel free to let me know and I will answer. I'm actually still trying to figure out this thing of writing, and I'm not very good yet. Something else I wanted to tell you is that I'm very sorry that the video delays so much. It should have not been like this, and I'm actually very upset about it. But I've been having a terrible time lately, so it just happened. And actually, I would like to talk about it in a video eventually, so I'll keep you updated. Thank you so much for all your kind words on my previous video and for your support. It really kept me going. I hope I see you around. Bye!